Have you ever stopped to think about how truly amazing the human brain is? Sure, you probably know it's responsible for every thought, emotion, and movement you have. But here's something most people don't realize. Your brain is capable of feats so incredible, they sound like something out of science fiction. And the most surprising part? Many of these abilities are happening in your brain right now, without you even realizing it. For example, did you know your brain can learn while you sleep? Or that it can literally change the way you perceive time? And here's a wild one. It can even create false memories so vivid, you'd swear they were real. The brain is a machine that not only defies expectations, but pushes the boundaries of what we believe is possible. And today, you'll uncover 10 mind-blowing things your brain can do, things no one ever told you about. So get ready, because what you're about to learn will completely change the way you see the human mind. Let's dive into a world where the impossible is routine and the brain is the star of everyday miracles. Recognizing complex patterns in seconds. The human brain is a true pattern recognition machine, something we often take for granted in our daily lives. Imagine walking through a forest and spotting a snake camouflaged among the leaves. That instant recognition isn't a coincidence. It's the result of millions of years of evolution shaping our brains to detect potential threats or dangers with astonishing speed. In milliseconds, your mind processes colors, shapes, and context to determine if something is safe or harmful. Fascinating, isn't it? This ability goes far beyond survival. Think about how a seasoned chess player scans a board. They don't need to study every piece individually because their mind instantly identifies familiar strategies. The same goes for musicians who anticipate and play sequences of notes effortlessly, guided by patterns they've practiced countless times. These automatic associations are a testament to how powerful and agile the brain truly is. Interestingly, even our social instincts rely on this natural talent. Have you ever noticed how you can instantly read the mood in a room just by walking in? A subtle facial expression or a shift in tone triggers your brain's radar, picking up on cues that something might be off. Often, you sense it before you can even articulate why. It's like having a built-in superpower for recognizing the unspoken. What's even more exciting is that you can train your brain to enhance this ability. By observing patterns in nature, studying art, or tackling everyday challenges like solving puzzles or learning new languages, you strengthen this skill. A chef, for instance, can identify hidden ingredients in a dish because they've trained their brain to distinguish subtle flavors. This continuous practice enhances how we perceive and interpret the world around us. Think about the areas where this ability works without you even realizing it. While driving, your brain calculates the speed of cars, distances, and even predicts lane changes in split seconds. Similarly, when you read, your mind identifies word and sentence patterns so seamlessly that the process feels automatic. Pattern recognition is at the core of every instinctive choice we make, and even our greatest innovations. But this is just the beginning. The next ability might surprise you even more. Creating false memories. Our brains have a curious ability. They can create memories of events that never actually happened. It might sound strange or even a little unsettling, but it's a natural part of how the mind works. Imagine vividly recalling a conversation you swear you had, only to find out it never happened. This happens more often than we realize and highlights how our brains reconstruct the past, often filling in gaps with pure imagination. Science tells us that our memories aren't like videos we can replay with perfect accuracy. Instead, they're more like pieces of a puzzle that the brain assembles each time we access them. In this reconstruction process, small errors can creep in. For instance, you might remember a friend wearing a blue shirt at an event when they were actually wearing red. This phenomenon, known as a false memory, can also be influenced by external cues, like a leading question or a photo you saw afterward. A famous experiment by psychologists Elizabeth Loftus and John Palmer illustrates this perfectly. Participants watched a video of a car crash, and when asked about it, the researchers used different words like collided or bumped. Those who heard collided remembered the crash as being more violent, even adding details that weren't in the video. This shows how easily our perception can be shaped by context or expectations. While false memories might seem like a flaw, they actually serve an important purpose. The brain creates these memories to fill in gaps and make our stories coherent. Imagine the chaos if we didn't have this ability. It would be like reading a book with missing pages, leaving us with a fragmented view of the world. That's why our recollections often sound more dramatic or detailed than they really were. This ability is also deeply tied to our creativity. The brain's knack for blending real elements with imagined ones helps us solve problems, craft stories, and even plan for the future. Think of writers creating fictional worlds so vivid they feel real. They're tapping into the same mechanism that generates false memories. Understanding this process gives us a better perspective on how we think and remember. And it raises an intriguing question. Is everything we remember truly how it happened? Fascinating, right? And this is just one of the many incredible abilities our brains have. The next one might change how you view reality itself. Self-healing and neuroplasticity. One of the most remarkable abilities of the human brain is its capacity to heal and adapt, a phenomenon known as neuroplasticity. It might sound like a technical term, but it's what allows the brain to rebuild itself after trauma or significant challenges. Imagine a road blocked by a landslide. Neuroplasticity is like building a detour, enabling the brain to create new pathways and keep functioning. For example, people recovering from strokes can often relearn how to walk or speak. Even if certain areas of the brain are damaged, others can adapt and take over with training and effort. Science also shows that activities like meditation, physical exercise, or learning new skills, such as playing an instrument or studying a language, strengthen these neural connections, speeding up recovery and enhancing cognitive function. But neuroplasticity isn't just about recovering from injuries. It's also the key to breaking negative thought patterns and behaviors. Let's say you want to change a habit, like procrastinating or doubting your abilities. By training your brain with daily practices, such as repeating positive affirmations or setting small, achievable goals, you can literally rewire your thought process. This flexibility is what makes us human, the ability to reinvent ourselves. Take the story of Barbara Arrowsmith-Young, a researcher who turned her own learning disabilities into groundbreaking work. She developed targeted exercises to train specific brain regions, overcoming limitations once thought impossible. Today, her methods help countless children and adults around the world, proving that healing is often within our reach. Another fascinating aspect of neuroplasticity is how it impacts our emotional perception. Emotional traumas, for example, can be eased through practices like cognitive behavioral therapy, which helps the brain reframe situations in less threatening ways. Even something as simple as practicing gratitude can reshape areas of the brain linked to happiness and well-being, making us more resilient in the face of adversity. This ability to heal and adapt reminds us that the brain is never fixed. It's a dynamic, ever-changing system shaped by our experiences and choices. And what's next might just blow your mind. How the brain can predict the future. The ability to see the future. Subconscious anticipation. Have you ever had a feeling something was about to happen, and then it did? While this might seem mystical, it's actually a reflection of your brain's incredible ability to anticipate the future based on patterns and information it processes subconsciously. It's like your brain is a detective, piecing together subtle clues to predict outcomes. This ability, often called subconscious anticipation, is more common than we realize and can be vital in many situations. Take sports as an example. Top athletes in soccer or tennis seem to know where the ball is going before their opponent even makes a move. But it's not magic. Their brains analyze subtle body movements, ball trajectory, and other cues in milliseconds. Years of training sharpen this skill, making anticipation almost second nature. In everyday life, this ability protects us too. Think about how you stop your car instinctively when someone is about to step into the road. Your brain processes tiny details, their posture, gaze direction, and alerts you before you're fully aware of the danger. This subconscious anticipation can literally save lives. It doesn't stop at physical actions. In social interactions, your brain picks up on subtle cues, a hesitant tone, a long pause, or an averted glance, to anticipate what's coming next. That's why you sometimes know someone is about to deliver bad news or sense when a meeting at work isn't going to end well. These predictions come from years of accumulated experience stored almost invisibly in your memory. Science also shows how the brain uses this skill for long-term planning. When making big decisions, like changing careers or starting a new project, your subconscious creates mental simulations based on past experiences and available data. It's as if your brain is running scenarios to help you make better choices. A powerful tool, even if we don't always notice it. Exploring subconscious anticipation is, in a way, learning to trust your intuition more. By training your mind to observe patterns and reflect on past experiences, you can strengthen this ability to predict what's ahead. And speaking of unseen abilities, did you know your brain keeps learning even while you sleep? Let's dive into that next. Learning skills while you sleep. Did you know that your brain keeps working even while you sleep? Processing information, consolidating memories, and even helping you learn? It's true. A good night's sleep is one of the best teachers you'll ever have. While you rest, your brain organizes and stores what you've learned throughout the day, turning raw knowledge into practical skills. Think about learning a new skill, like playing guitar or solving complex math problems. During REM sleep, your brain revisits these experiences, strengthening the neural connections involved. This is why many people wake up the next day finding it easier to do something that felt difficult the night before. It's as if your mind keeps practicing while you sleep. Research shows that your brain can absorb some auditory information during sleep, like words or phrases in another language. While it won't make you fluent in French overnight, it can reinforce vocabulary you've already started learning. To get the best results, focus on high-quality audio content related to topics you've consciously studied. Sleep also plays a key role in motor learning. This is why pianists, athletes, and even gamers report better performance after a good night's rest. The brain uses sleep to simulate repetitive movements, improving precision and reinforcing techniques. So, staying up late to practice without proper rest isn't as productive as it seems. Sleep is an essential part of progress. Curiously, sleep also helps with creative problem solving. Many great thinkers and artists, like Thomas Edison or Salvador Dali, credited sleep for their creative breakthroughs. During sleep, your brain freely connects seemingly unrelated ideas, opening the door to innovative solutions and fresh perspectives. It's like your mind gets to play in a space free from the constraints of conscious logic. So, if you're looking to learn something new or master a skill, never underestimate the power of sleep. It's not just a time for rest, it's an active tool for growth and innovation. And speaking of surprising abilities, the brain's connection to the body reveals even more hidden potential. The intuitive connection between mind and body. The brain and body share such a powerful connection that, often, your mind knows what's happening physically before you consciously realize it. Ever felt butterflies in your stomach before a big presentation or noticed your muscles tense in a dangerous situation? This intuitive communication is how your brain uses bodily signals to interpret and respond to the world around you, almost like your body is an emotional radar. Take the survival instinct, for example. When your heart races in a dangerous situation before you even know what's wrong, it's your brain and body working together through the autonomic nervous system to prepare you to fight, flee, or react. The same connection is at play during positive moments, like the feeling of relaxation after a deep breath, or when listening to a favorite song. Your brain also listens to your body to adjust your emotions. For instance, simply smiling, even without a reason, can activate brain regions linked to happiness, creating a positive feedback loop. This phenomenon, known as facial feedback, shows how the body and mind are in constant dialogue, influencing one another in profound ways. Practices like yoga and meditation consciously harness this connection by focusing on the breath or bodily sensations, teaching your brain to better interpret these signals and reduce stress. Who hasn't felt a wave of relief after taking a deep breath during a tense moment? It's the brain responding to a simple physical command, demonstrating how fluid and dynamic this relationship truly is. The placebo effect is another fascinating example of this connection. When the brain believes a treatment is working, even if it's just a sugar pill, it can trigger real physiological changes, effectively telling the body to heal. It's a reminder of how much belief and mental state can directly influence physical health. By understanding this connection, we unlock powerful tools for emotional and physical self-regulation. But the brain's abilities don't stop there. Next, we'll uncover how it can interpret someone else's emotions with nothing more than a glance. Interpreting emotions through microexpressions. The human brain is a true emotion detector, and one of its most surprising abilities is interpreting microexpressions. These are brief, involuntary facial expressions, often too quick for the naked eye to notice, that reveal what someone is really feeling, even when they're trying to hide it. It's almost like the brain has a superpower to see beyond social masks. Have you ever sensed that someone was sad or angry, even when they insisted they were fine? This happens because your brain picks up subtle cues, like a raised eyebrow, tightened lips, or a fleeting glance. These signals are processed subconsciously, helping you interpret the emotional state of those around you without even realizing it. Psychologist Paul Ekman, renowned for his research on microexpressions, discovered that these fleeting facial changes are universal. Across cultures, humans express basic emotions like joy, sadness, fear, and anger in similar ways. That's why you can often understand what someone is feeling, even if you don't speak the same language. This skill is invaluable in social and professional settings, where accurately reading emotions can make all the difference. What's more, microexpressions can be trained and refined. Professionals like negotiators, therapists, and detectives train to spot these expressions. You can practice too, by paying close attention to people's faces in conversations or watching videos designed to highlight emotional scenarios. Over time, your ability to read faces can become sharper and more intuitive. This skill isn't just about understanding others, it's also about fostering emotional connections. Recognizing that someone is anxious or upset allows you to adapt your approach, showing empathy and strengthening relationships. It's a reminder of how deeply connected we are as humans. And all of this happens in milliseconds, as if your brain is conducting an intuitive scan. But there's more. The brain doesn't just read emotions, it can also alter your perception of time in astonishing ways. Let's dive into that next. Altering your perception of time. Have you ever felt like time was flying by, or dragging on endlessly? That's because your brain doesn't perceive time as it truly is, it perceives it as you feel it. The way we experience time is a mental construct, shaped by emotions, focus, and even the novelty of our experiences. Think about a routine day at work. The hours fly by, but looking back, it feels like a blur. Contrast that with a day full of new experiences, like traveling or attending a special event, where time seems to slow down and the details stand out. This happens because your brain associates the passage of time with the amount of information it processes. The more novelty, the slower time feels. In high-risk situations, like a car accident or a fall, time seems to freeze. That's because your brain goes into high alert, absorbing every detail around you. This heightened perception creates the illusion of slow motion, as if time is stretching out. Technology also affects how we perceive time. Ever spent hours scrolling through social media, only to feel like it was just minutes? This happens because the brain gets immersed in small cycles of reward, like likes or fresh content, distracting your sense of time and creating a distorted experience. Interestingly, you can train your perception of time. Practices like mindfulness and meditation help slow your mind, allowing you to savor the present moment. On the flip side, engaging in highly enjoyable or challenging activities, like playing a sport or an instrument, can make time feel like it's flying by. This remarkable ability to alter our perception of time is a tool we can use to enhance our daily lives. But that's just one piece of the puzzle. Next, we'll uncover how the brain can take control of bodily functions we usually consider automatic, revealing even more of its hidden potential. Voluntarily controlling automatic bodily functions. The human brain has an incredible ability to take control of bodily functions that are typically automatic, like breathing, heart rate, and even digestion. This fascinating skill is most evident in practices like meditation, yoga, and other techniques that harness the mind-body connection. While many of these processes are regulated by the autonomic nervous system, which operates on its own, the brain can step in when needed, offering remarkable physical and mental health benefits. Take breathing, for example. In stressful situations, your breathing often becomes shallow and rapid, heightening anxiety. By consciously slowing your breath, you activate the vagus nerve, signaling your brain to relax. This simple practice can lower your heart rate, reduce blood pressure, and even regulate stress hormones like cortisol. It's the brain proving it's in charge. A striking example is temperature control, as demonstrated by practitioners of the Wim Hof method. Through deliberate breathing and mental focus, they can withstand extreme cold, like submerging in ice-cold water, without succumbing to hypothermia. This isn't magic, it's the result of intense mental training that pushes the boundaries of the brain's control over the body. The brain also has the power to influence pain perception. Techniques like hypnosis and meditation have been used to help patients reduce pain during medical procedures. In some cases, People have even undergone surgeries without conventional anesthesia, relying solely on mental control. This happens because the brain can turn down or redirect pain signals reaching the cortex, effectively altering the experience of discomfort. This mind-body connection is also evident in the digestive system. Practices like mindfulness can help individuals with conditions like irritable bowel syndrome by reducing the brain's exaggerated response to discomfort, teaching the body to function more efficiently. It's a powerful example of how the brain can retrain the body for better health. This ability to take control of automatic processes highlights the brain's adaptability and potential for transformation. And that's not all. Next, we'll explore how the brain generates creative ideas seemingly out of nowhere, revealing another brilliant facet of the human mind. Generating creative ideas out of nowhere. The human brain has a fascinating ability to generate creative ideas that seem to appear out of nowhere. Have you ever experienced a sudden flash of inspiration while taking a shower or going for a walk? This phenomenon isn't magic. It's the result of your brain working in the background, connecting information and creating something new. This ability is linked to what neuroscientists call the default mode network. When you relax or let your mind wander, this network activates, connecting seemingly unrelated memories and ideas. It's like your brain becomes an artist, piecing together fragments of thoughts, experiences, and knowledge to create something entirely new. That's why insights often come when you're not actively focused on solving a problem. Take Archimedes' famous Eureka moment as an example. He reportedly discovered the principle of buoyancy while relaxing in a bathtub. Similarly, many great inventions, iconic songs, and business strategies are born during moments of spontaneous creativity, when the brain combines logic with imagination. Contrary to popular belief, creativity isn't just an innate talent, it's a skill you can train. Writing, painting, or even learning something new adds to your mental library of ideas. Simple changes, like taking a new route to work or trying a different hobby, can stimulate fresh connections in your brain, boosting creativity. Sleep also plays a key role in generating ideas. During sleep, your brain processes information more freely, allowing bold and creative connections. This is why people often wake up with solutions to problems that seemed impossible the night before. Keeping a notebook by your bed can help you capture those fleeting insights before they disappear. Creativity isn't just about art or big inventions, it's in everyday actions, like solving problems, improvising a meal, or telling a story. It's proof of the brain's infinite potential. Now that you've learned about these incredible abilities, it's time to apply them and unlock even more of your mind's power. Now that you know these 10 amazing abilities of the human brain, the big question is, how can you unlock your full potential? The truth is, your brain is like a muscle. The more you challenge it, the stronger it becomes. So why not start today? Use these discoveries to boost your creativity, sharpen your perception, or learn something new more effectively. After all, the only limit isn't in your brain, it's in how you use it. Which of these abilities surprised you the most? Have you ever noticed your brain working in these ways? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. And if you think someone you know would find this fascinating, share this video with them. You might just inspire them to unlock their brain's potential too. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Here, you'll keep discovering how your brain works and how to use that knowledge to create a better life. I'll see you in the next video. There's so much more to uncover about the amazing power of the human mind.